Are we rolling, Chris?
We are all ready to go.
Okay.
See me rolling.
Been all that time.
That's all right. Don't worry. That'll be the first little bit where we ease our way in. But welcome to the RUNcensored podcast with me, Ben Mounser, Gary House, another guest on today, Jacob Tonkin. Welcome, fresh from the Lake District, mate. Thanks for coming down and joining us. As is customary now on the podcast, I'm just going to give you the floor just to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about you, mate, and who you are and where you come from.
It's quite a dangerous thing.
It is. It could be a while, this couldn't it, as well? Yeah, there's a lot to cover.
30 seconds you got.
My name's Jacob Tonkin. Most people in the running community know me as Tonk. It's singular, not plural. A lot of people always say Tonks, and I'm like, well, let's see if there's more than one of us there.
What about Tonk?
I'm from Tonka Toys from Girls and Boys. There's loads of things. I don't think they exist anymore.
No, I've not seen them.
I'm a fell runner from Keswick. I now live down in Thirlmere. I do a lot of orienteering. I have got size 9.5 feet, right-handed. How much details do we normally
No, that's
give?
good, mate. I think you positioned it well. Yeah. Don't forget the Canicross as well.
Canicross runner, orienteer. Do a lot of Canicross now with my dog Hector, who up until last year he'd never been beaten in a Canicross race.
Wow!
Okay.
And then I took my foot off the gas, and there's a lady called Colleen Fotherby who's got this massive dog, and she's tiny.
That just drag around. Or
she's a very good runner.
Yeah.
She's a very good runner. But then also you team her up with this dog and it's just Whereas my Hector's for a collie is not very big, and I'm like, come on,
pulling
mate.
him.
I'm like, please. He's in front, but there's just no pull power.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on, mate.
Yeah. Is she like a kite behind the other dog?
She pretty much is. Like her arms, like, oh. Yeah. I don't think her feet touch the floor. So I do a lot of that. Do a lot of orienteering. Don't really claim to be particularly good at anything, but I do my best.
And your podcast as well?
I do have a podcast, yeah. I've took my foot off the gas a bit with that to let your numbers improve.
Oh, thanks, mate. We do appreciate
this
it. We do appreciate it.
A bit of a head start.
Yeah, last year there was a film made about me by James Appleton, which is still going pretty well and being shown in all different places in the world.
Well, I want to talk about all of those things on this podcast. We've got loads of questions and stuff here. But I mean, the first thing I will say is that I think you are a fantastic ambassador for fell running. I honestly, genuinely mean that as well, because not only are you from the lakes, but you are like at most of the races. And I just love following you on social media, and like there's always a story, isn't there? Like when you go and do a race, like, and it can be anything from how you feel in the weather, something that happened, but like genuinely I just think you're a great ambassador for the sport, mate, honestly. And I know you said you're kind of a bit of a jack of all trades there because you do so many things, but I think you're very modest in what you said there. You are a very, very good fell runner, and great ambassador, but it's something you love, isn't it? It's like your main passion is fell running.
Oh, well, I do say it's the only thing I do. You know, I have no other passions anymore, really, other than being outside. And I'm very lucky that I've grown up in a family which is outdoors is the main part of our lives. And like my nan and granddad were, they used to run the youth hostel at Borrowdale, and my nana was 2-time British orienteering champion. My granddad's had a massive influence on my whole life. And you know, my parents would drag us out when we were kids, and that's gone from not being dragged to now actually when we want to go and do that. And yeah, you know, it's my life now.
You're like the Lake District's Killian Johnny, aren't you? Born under a rock sort of thing. Like you had no choice really, did you?
No, not really.
Obviously you like absolutely love doing it.
Yeah.
But it is in the blood, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing sport, isn't it, fell running? But like, what is it that you love about it the most? Apart from it being cheap to enter races, because that's one of the motivations for me, obviously.
Well,
local.
I've like dabbled around with different things this year. I did a lot of road races. I've done some trail races, and they're just not the same. Like the best thing about fell running is they are dead cheap. You can go and do them, but you can race twice a week, every week if you want, from March till September. And all the routes are awesome routes, even if it's just an out and back, you know, like Pike of Blisco fell race from Old Dungeon Gale, top of Blisco and back. Like, who wouldn't want to go and run that? So you can go and recce it, and it's like a puzzle, because not only are you trying to run it as fast as you can, but like I'm not the fastest runner, but I want to make sure that I know the lines better than anyone else doing it. And that's where I gain a load of time because I'm confident what I'm doing. I'll spend loads of time wrecking it because I want to be out and about on the fells. So whereas a lot of the other races I've done this year, like did Lakeland 50, for me it's just too prescribed. You know,
formulaic.
You stick on this path, and I'm like, well, I want to cut the corner and go that way.
Plenty of people cut those corners there, mate. Don't worry about that. But I can tell you that.
Gary could do a whole episode. We could do another episode, couldn't we, on that, Gary? Yeah.
But yeah, it just, it just isn't the same.
Yeah.
It's the fell running things. It's a sense of freedom that you get. It's a sense of the fact that you might be the only person that year who stepped foot on that trod.
Yeah.
No one else has been there since.
We did a recent episode with Kay Hawke from British Orienteering, and we talked about that kind of unpredictability with orienteering and that like problem solving. And in a way, it's similar to fell running because orienteering does come into it. There is some element of navigation, isn't there, between checkpoints? And I'm not saying you have to be an amazing orienteer to do fell running, but you will often find in races, we all know this, that, you might take a different route to everybody else in the race to get to a checkpoint, and it might be the worst decision you've ever made, or it might be the best, and that kind of adds to it. It's not always the fastest runner that wins, is it?
No, but I do this thing where if I'm in a race, because I'm always in a really awkward place in a race. I'm too slow for the people in front of me, and I'm too fast for the people behind, so I'm just on my own. And I'm aware that a lot of people see me in a Keswick vest.
You're a marked man.
Oh, that's Jacob Tonkin. He knows where he's going. I'll follow him. So I do have a load of, I'm horrible to myself in my head when I'm running. And I'm like, right, I'm going to take a ranch line here and just go. And if I nail this as quick as I can, like, for instance, other month did the Thornthwaite round, and I was running, and Beth Pascal was there. And we get to the top of Windlatter Fell, the summit, and then there's like a bit of off a piste bit to get into the forest, and then onto the forest trails again. And Beth was with two of the blokes, and they both slowed down to wait for me because they knew that I'd know where I was going. And I thought, right, I could take the line I want to take, but they're going to be quicker on that line than I am. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the way I don't want to go, which is through a lot of knee-high heather. But I know that I'm still good through that, and I know that I'm actually quicker through that than they are.
Yeah.
So I took them down this really steep grassy chute, which lulled them into a false sense of security. One guy overtook me, and I was like, right, see ya. And then I went really hard right, went through this bracken, and I could just hit. Beth was like, oh, what are you doing? And I was like, yes. So I thought 100 metres, nail that as hard as I can. And even if it didn't gain any time at all, I thought I'll be less tired doing that than they will.
Definitely.
And then we got onto the forest, into the trail again, and we're coming down the track. And then it was long, it's like a 1.5 mile descent. So they overtook me in the last bit of the climb, and then I managed to overtake them on the descent. So just little mind games and stuff, and, wanting to take what you might think is the optimum route, but knowing that people are probably going to follow you, but then they don't know where they are, and you do.
I love the kind of, it is mind games. I love that feeling when you've took a slightly better line, whether it's on purpose or not, and you can see that person drifting off and coming round or whatever. That's amazing, but equally, it's like when you're on the wrong end of it as well. It's equally as like gut wrenching kind of thing. That's what's enjoyable as well. I think that's what I used to love more than anything, to be honest. And like you say, that can be happening at the front, at the back, whatever.
Yeah, the main switching point for me was GPS Gate at Ireland that year.
Oh my God, yeah. I do remember that.
Because I had a really good run, come down the last descent, and that's when Josh Jardine had been and built them cairns, hadn't they?
That's right, yeah.
And I'm going down there, and it's the first time in my life I was about to beat Toast, Lee Newton from Keswick, who I always looked up to Toast when I started running, and I nailed down this descent and realised I'd gone completely the wrong way. And I had to climb all the way back up to find the line, then come back down again. I put about another 1,800 foot of ascent on, and Toast beat me by 2 minutes, and I was like, I was so far ahead of him, and I'm beating him. And that's when I was like, right, I need to actually buckle down and realise that, learn again how to properly nav.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be making the mistakes again.
I had the same nightmare. It was like pea soup, wasn't it? When we set off in pea soup, didn't we? And I think that's the thing about that particular race, or those races in Le Mans on that side of the coast, it's prone to kind of low mist, isn't it? It's a little bit like Black Combe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you always, or not always, but there's a good chance you're going to be running in clag. And that's when you really need to kind of be good at navigating. I mean, always gone wrong in those races. It's very rare where I've managed to, unless I'm following somebody like you.
Yeah,
I can kind of,
but it was a good year though, wasn't it? Because we all got bussed out to the start line, just piled onto these buses. It's like, where the fuck are we going?
We got out and we couldn't see like 10 seconds in front of each other, could we?
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even know which direction we're starting from.
And
I had
we were
no
just
bearings.
in this little grassy opening alongside the road, and he said, go, and literally everyone just went like that, completely different ways, and it was like, what? And you had to run to find the wall, and then once you found the wall, you stuck on it, and then eventually you came off the wall again. But like, it's like that. There was a year when someone put the Black Combe Strava trace maps, and it was
hilarious.
You couldn't have gone on any more of terrain on Black Combe because everyone literally just fanned out that much.
Some people coming back on the road when you should be coming back down the fell. It's it's hilarious. Yeah, hilarious.
So that's what makes fell running for me.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great
All
answer.
those things.
I mean, it's probably hard to pick a race in on the fell running calendar, but are there any? Like, is there a one that sticks out, or that's your favourite, or any particular ones that you enjoy more than others?
Bessie Boot is a tiny little 3-mile one, which I shamefully created the route for my auntie who works at Borodale School. And the first year, I was the only person there who knew the route because I'd made it, so everyone followed me. And I finished third because 2 guys beat me on the track. And I was like, right, next year is all about winning that one race. So I rocked up and I'm looking around and I'm like, there's no one else really fasting. And I'm the only person who knows where I'm going. Jobs are good. And literally, he does his usual trick, Cowbell.
Lastminute.com.
Last minute. Yeah. But when you're standing, he'd been for a wee and he ran. I was like, oh, fuck's sake, Carl's here. And I was like, it's all right. Carl doesn't know where he's going. So we set off and Carl went off like a rocket. And I was like, right, let him go. And another lad, Sam from CFR, was running with him and they just took off. And I was like, oh, I'm going to link up all these rocks, and I had a really sneaky way to get to the top. Anyway, I came down and I could see them 2 in front of me and I thought, I'm going to catch them on this descent, and I did. And I overtook Carl Bell in front of Anne Bland, Billy's wife. And Anne went, oh, I went around a corner, a lady screamed. And I was like, this is because Jacob Tonkin's winning the race. And then Carl ended up beating me by 2 seconds.
Oh,
and I was second. And I was like, oh, you're joking. So in the year after I went back, I've had third, second, this is my year. And I finished 8th. And I was like, fuck that. But it's a really cool one. It's a little tiny, it's 3.5 miles, but it's got absolutely everything into it.
Is it a midweek or is that on a weekend?
It's a midweek one.
Yeah.
Usually middle of July. Absolutely awesome. Other favourite would be Dunnerdale fell race, because for a short fell race, 5 miles, it's a proper horseshoe. Like, what more in that race could you want out of a fell race?
And that's the thing with fell running, you can get so much packed into a 5 mile.
Yeah.
You don't need necessarily to be a huge long race to enjoy it. And those midweek races are fantastic. We talked about orienteering before, as I said, and there's a midweek series pretty much anywhere in the country, but for me as well, coming up to do the midweek races, I think Blencathra, I've mentioned Blencathra before, I love that race. Yeah. And I think this year there was a bit more route choice at the start, wasn't there? You could go up the valley as opposed to going straight into that first climb. And it's interesting because that's going to be a champs race next year. So I'd like to know what they do, because I know that going up the valley is
I think it's caused
more
a bit
direct.
of
a stir, hasn't it?
So I think Sam's going to have to do it as that is the only way up kind of thing. But it would be cool if we had a bit more route choice like that for champs races, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well, because it would make it more interesting.
It really would.
I think the more kind of jeopardy and drama you can inject into a race like that, and the more unpredictability, it makes it more interesting for people watching it as well as racing it, doesn't it?
But that's what separates fell running to trail running for me.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you have to have you have to have mountain craft, and you've got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Whereas a lot of the trail races now, it's always been that route, and that's the way you go. Like the Kong Winter Series this year, they're doing them all in reverse.
Amazing. What a great idea.
Why can't we do that a few more times with other races and just really open it up? Because like when I did my Bob Graham, I did mine anti-clockwise. And I know clockwise so well, but I'd never done anything anti-clockwise before. None of the people who helped me on my Bob had ever supported an anti-clockwise round.
Yeah.
And the year I did it, there was like 360 odd successful rounds, and 2 of them were anti-clockwise.
Wow.
And people are like, oh my God, why? But it's but it's a circular route. So at one point you've got to do all those climbs and descents. It's the same distance, it's the same height ascent again. You just do it. The tough bits come at different times.
Yeah.
But it just opens up this whole exciting world of, adventure, I find.
Definitely. I mean, the Bob Graham is like classic, isn't it? Because it just involves not just you in doing the round, but like bringing in your team as well. It's very much like a team effort, isn't it? I don't know. Have you done one before, Gary? I know you've helped out with
Bob. No, I've just done various legs, same as the Paddy. Like I live 30 minutes away, and I still haven't done that. But I think it's because I've supported so many times. The organisational side of it puts me off. But I'll do it at some point, I think. Yeah, the Bob. That's an interesting point though for someone, especially as you're first. Where was that decision to do anti-clockwise just born out of having done support so many times, and you wanted to do something different for yourself? Or
well, no, not my granddad did it anti-clockwise.
There you go. So that was the inspiration.
Yeah. So I had always thought, like, I'll do it, and when I've been helping other people, I never could see myself actually doing it, and I thought it's way beyond me, this. And I had my whole thing of being ill and then, not running for a while, and I just thought that had gone, that ship had sailed. And then I literally, like when we moved to Thirlmere, I was out one day and I'd gone up Sticks Pass and gone along to Helvellyn, and I came back and I was like, from Helvellyn back to Sticks Pass is an awesome run because it's technically trending downhill, it's undulating. And I was like, why don't I do a leg anti-clockwise? And I did it, and I just had this like light bulb moment. I was like, oh my God, I'll go anti-clockwise.
This is
and it just all made completely, to me, way better sense to do it anti-clockwise than clockwise. You get in through Wasdale after 2 legs as opposed to 3. All the hard bits are done at the start of the leg, then you trend downhill.
Yeah.
And you've got to go Blencath at the end, and everyone's like, oh, but if you're going up Hall's Fell, it's a scramble. Yeah. Like, you've got one speed.
And you cut out the climb up to Clough Head, which is steep as, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you were doing it in clockwise direction, coming out of Wasdale after leg 4 and leg 5, Jesus Christ, it's a killer. So you're coming down there, aren't you?
Even going clockwise, skid as your first climb.
Yeah.
First 5 miles clockwise, and 3,000-foot climb as opposed to on the road.
Yeah.
You then, how many people do you see who overcook it on the first leg?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, it was like going anti-clockwise, you can't really overcook it.
Yeah.
And then you come off
to the Paddy, I guess. Like there used to be, because in the Paddy you can start from anywhere. There was a lot more, I'd say, variation in people, different starting locations, anti-clockwise, clockwise, and then the more the GPX came available and the more the record was broken and established a bit more, now everyone just starts in Llanberis and goes the same way.
Yeah.
But mostly, there's still a little, it's not the same amount of people as a Bob Graham, but that's just probably it.
Yeah.
It's just one of it. But like you say, if I was just out for your own challenge, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Really.
But it's a hard thing to get the team sorted and all logistics. Like, it's tough, but I'd helped on that many.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Or I'm not going to do that. And I'd like picked it all, and I had the exact right people who I wanted at each point. My best mate Boris. Did you ever meet Boris?
Yeah, is the guy from Romania? Was it? Oh, is it
Slovakia?
Slovakia.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you'd gone over there.
Oh, sorry, Boris.
Yeah, I hope he's not listening.
Bo lived here for like 10 years, and he's started off the trend of bringing people a pint out when they finished the round. And I wanted it to be like me, Craig, and Boris, and my mate Ivan to do leg 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, Boris got COVID about 3 weeks before, and he used to live at the end of the street at Mum and Dad's, and I was walking past his house, and he'd be sitting there isolating, which is just him sat in a deck chair with his top off at like 10 in the morning, glass of wine in one hand and like a leg of mystery meat. And he was like, don't worry, mate, I'm keeping myself fit. I'm doing 300 squats a day. I'll be fine to do leg 1 with you. And I was like, all right, okay, mate. Anyway, surprise, comes to the week. I'm really sorry, Jake. I've got gout. I was like,
from the mystery.
Really? Have you really, mate? He's like, yeah. He goes, so I won't be able to run with you. So I said, oh, it's all right. So instead of running, he was on the bike. So the first 5 miles he just rode, and I said, right, you cycle along at 10-minute mile pace for me. I'll just run alongside you. So we did that.
Brilliant.
And then he came to Threlcold, and he was, he's all over the place. And he
could still eat the mystery meat
on the bike. And he could still eat his mystery meat. Yeah. But yeah, so I had that, and then I had like my nan and granddad were both alive at the time to see me do it. So they were at Dunmail, then at Threlcold, and at the end. And yeah, I mean, there's a couple of very unbelievable stories about my Bob. with my mate Mingma. He essentially had a heart attack and fell down.
Yeah, Mingma Sherpa. Yeah.
And then got back up again and ran the rest of the leg. And yeah,
he's unbelievable. That guy.
He's
like a what's the right word? Not a myth, but he's
he is. He's man, the myth, the legend.
I've been in the odd race. That
the
I know
man, the Mingma, the legend.
Yeah. It's just like, and you just. I don't know him personally, but you just hear story.
I'm well up thinking about him because he's just. It is like Sherpa mentality that he would do absolutely anything for you.
Yeah.
And like there was a guy the other week doing his bob, and he didn't have another jacket, and Ming was like, "Oh, I'll just take mine."
Yeah.
And then Mingma ran without a jacket across all like hell and the Dodds.
I remember looking at his when he first moved over. I remember like looking at his training because Corny, Paul Cornforth, Corny put me onto him and said, like, just look at what this guy's doing. I was like, what the hell? Like, the amount of mileage he was running and like the length and the kind of just time he was on his feet. I thought this guy's like on another planet.
But he's like Danny Rojas on Ted Lasso, where he's like, football is life. He's like running his life.
He's living for it.
It's amazing. Yeah, I've never seen him in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Like it's just everything is fantastic. Like with me, he essentially fractured his skull and his face was out here. And he's running around with like a buff over his head like a pirate. And he's like, isn't this brilliant? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. But no, like once you get the logistics sorted for the bob, you get it all in place, you get exactly who you want, where you want, then, it's a doddle really, because all you have to worry about, your only concern is putting one foot in front of the other. And you just go.
We've talked a lot about Bob Graham, various different things.
Have you done one?
I've not done one.
We just talk about it a lot.
Yeah, we do talk about it a lot. I just talk about doing it a lot. Yeah. No, I've done every leg like many times. In fact, like you've probably got a leg, and I guess it'd be leg 1 or 2 for you, where you're living as well. Actually, it could be 3 as well. But I always seem to help out at leg 2 because I always stay at Lou and Corney's and do leg 2. But I've done it loads, so I know it intimately. For me, I just prefer the short distance stuff, so it doesn't appeal. But at some point, I think you've got to do it as a fell runner. So
it's a rite of passage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's like a checklist. My granddad told me about this checklist. He said, right, you need to get yourself, you can only run with a bum bag. You have to have a pair of Walshes. Yeah. You've got to lose a couple of toenails. Yeah. Get yourself a border collie.
Yes. Yeah. Collie Joss.
Do it Bob Graham. Once you've done that, you are a fell runner.
Gary had a question for you. He wants to know what your thoughts are on using poles in Bob Graham.
That's not my question, mate. It's Ben who gets himself in trouble.
Yeah, I heard the one with Andy Berry about the poles as well. I mean, I had a panic about the week before. I was like, shit, what if I should use poles? So I took them from mine. I went straight up sticks past with them, got to the top of Stybar. I was like, oh, fuck these. And
it would look like AI if I saw some footage of you in the poles.
I mean, I tore my quad last year and I had to use them for a bit when I was helping someone's bob, and everyone, I couldn't get away with it. What the hell are these? I'm like, shamefully.
I know, like, I've sort of mentioned it jokingly now on the pod because people are always like, oh, just get over it sort of thing. And I have got a couple of pairs of poles, but genuinely, and you'll back me up on this because you've fell running all the time like I've done for many, many years. But if you turned up at a fell race with a pair of poles,
I would love to see.
You'd get stabbed, wouldn't you? With the poles.
Yeah, with them very poles.
I'm surprised some young like YouTuber or something hasn't turned up, even just knowing what he's doing to.
It's bad enough when people ask, "Oh, can I wear headphones for this race?" I'm like, "What? In a fell race?"
I'll quickly move on from the pole debate.
Just on that though, we really ought to set Danny up. We ought to get Danny, haven't we, with some poles and fails because
Danny Andrews. Sorry,
Danny Andrews,
for context, Fish and Rice Cake Man who came on, definitely.
Oh, Fish and Rice Cake Man, yeah.
He would take poles to a fell race, right?
He would. When he does his fit check, he would have the poles as part of his fit check, 100%.
He'd get away with it, that would be all right.
I mean, we could do a full episode talking about the bob, but the other thing I wanted to talk about, and me and Gary did chat about this beforehand, was wanted to know about more about the Frog Graham, which is very similar to the bob in many ways, but I'm going to let you explain what it is first of all, so people on the pod who've never heard of it.
Because I imagine there will be lots of people that don't have a clue what it is.
No, yeah.
And then we'll talk about your experience of the Frog Graham.
So the Frog is a similar sort of challenge as the bob, start and finish at the Moot Hall. It's split up into run legs and swim legs. It's about 40 miles. you run up some of the highest mountains in the country, you swim across 4 of the lakes. So the first leg goes up alongside Latrigg, under Skidder, but then you come down to sort of like top of Carlside, then down to Dodd, swim across Bassenthwaite. Then you do all the Windlatter and the Coaldale Fells down to Crummock, swim across Crummock, do some of the Buttermere Fells, swim across Buttermere, the horrible way up Robinson, and then round to Catbells and swim across Derwentwater. But you have to get out of the 3 islands at Derwentwater, and then you finish back at the Moot Hall. So yeah, all in all, the longest continuous swim you do is across Derwentwater, but technically you get out of the islands, which is like 1.25 miles. The other ones are about, where the range, like going across Bassenthwaite's about 0.7 of a mile, and the other 2 are like half-mile swims. So they're not difficult swims, but obviously it's through lakes. And so there's choppy, and you've got that to contend with. And
I've helped with the frog rim. I've not done any of the swimming, but I believe that the lakes and the mares are very different as well, aren't they? But to each other is what I'm saying. I know they're all full of water, obviously, and you're swimming them, but they do feel very different, don't they? Just explain more about that.
Bassenthwaite is a horrible one because it's long and thin. So when you're swimming, you're looking and you're breathing, your head's turning right, and land is like 2 miles that way, and you feel and then you look forward and like, oh, it's only there, but it's enough to like knock you. I mean, the real ethos of the round originally, which seems to have changed recently, is that you do it completely unsupported. So you carry all your own stuff, you do that. So when I did it, I wanted to have people with me just for having a crack.
Yeah.
But I carried all my own stuff. There's the added complication at the moment because like the biosecurity and swapping, because some of the lakes aren't linked to others, and that's how, algae and invasive species, I think is a term.
You're essentially running as well, sorry, just to jump in there, in the same kit as well. So I guess like is that correct? Do you run in like a swimsuit or like
take the wetsuit?
Well,
I think some people actually do run in the same thing. Generally,
people do. So I set off in my running stuff. Got to Bassenthwaite, put a full length wetsuit on. Swam across that. Got to the end, met my mum and Rachel May, who I swapped over wetsuits so they could go and wash it because Bassenthwaite's separate to the other 2 lakes.
So this is why you've done it for the kind of bio.
But on the actual map, it shows you some rivers where you can wash, or you could wash your kit in the tap at the visit centre at Windlatter, so that you're not spreading stuff all over. So then I picked up my other wetsuit, carried that with me to side of Crummock. I then put it on, swam across, and then I ran the next leg in my wetsuit and just sort of rolled the top down. James Appleton's got some fantastic photos of me just in this like capri length wetsuit with it all bunched up, and I'm eating this sandwich. And I think it's on. I think it's actually on the.
I spent like 2.5 seasons in triathlon, and the worst part for me was that transition with the wetsuit.
It's hard.
I don't know how people are running legs,
because some people.
I know you've got shorties and all that kind of stuff, but like
some people are doing it all at the
the whole thing.
The whole thing in the same outfit.
That baffles me. That like the couple of 100 meters to my bike was enough for me.
We tell me bunches up like the back of your knees and stuff.
And then you pull it down, and it's like,
Would
you just do it in Speedos, Gary?
No.
Goose fat and Speedos.
I couldn't afford proper triathlon stuff. I just used to have like Adidas compression gear on underneath my old wetsuit. So I'd take it off completely. But that's still trying to think about how you'd get away with it.
Yeah, well, like folk, I think now that's why people have support when they're doing it. And I mean, it used to be like the website used to say if you were under 40, you're expected to do it unsupported. Then if you get like 40s to 50s, you can have some help and stuff.
From a safety aspect as well, when you're swimming, I suppose a lot of people do have like support in terms of canoes, don't they, next to them? Like, not obviously like pulling them along, but just in case anything had happened, I guess.
So you've only got like a tote float with you, so you're visible. But there's only boats on Bassenthwaite and Derwentwater. Crummock and Buttermere haven't got any boats, so you should be all right. But I had someone always running with me, someone always swimming with me. Obviously, you can't have a crack when you're swimming, but it's just nice to have someone with you, innit?
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, I ended up having a really good day. It was actually, I was originally going to do the bob because there was a chance that I could do the bob exactly 40 years to the day since my granddad did his. But I enjoyed lockdown a bit too much, and I picked up a bit of a knee injury. So I was swimming absolutely loads. And then I just decided, I was like, oh, well, I'm not fit enough to do the bob, but I could do the frog.
Yeah.
So I did that. Set off with my mate Craig.
Did you swam much, or were you just getting away?
I mean, I was swimming like 3 times a day in lockdown. I've got this knee injury, and my mum and dad is literally just 2 minutes walk from Derwentwater.
So were you swimming in Derwentwater?
Swimming in Derwentwater. There was me, Martin Mickelson, Barron. There was like Billy Cartwright, Nicola Jackson.
One bit of exercise a day was 3 swims.
Yeah, but I wasn't going back. Wasn't actually going back into the house.
Right.
So
don't worry, you can mention now because Bojo was doing whatever he wanted.
Bullshit anyway.
But yeah, we all got mega competitive, and we created a few Strava segments in the lake, and it was like I'd go and get it, and I'd be like, get in there. I'd be walking home. As I'm walking home, Martin's walking down in his, and I'm like, no, you better not be going. And I'd get a notification that he'd taken a second off. So it was proper competitive.
Yeah.
I got, at the time, I mean, when I finished the round, I had like the 10th fastest time for it. And I think I had like 2nd fastest swim splits for the whole thing. Which was, I was really, really happy with it. But yeah, so I thought about doing the bob, couldn't because of the knee, so did the frog. So it was the 1st of August I did it. And yeah, like had everyone with me who I wanted. I had George with me who came and ran the last leg. My mum had brought him to butter me, and he rolled in some fox poo right coming off the top of high style, and he absolutely stank, and I had a belly full of gels and lake water, and I was like, I do not need to smell fox poo right now, man, because it was white. He had this great big orange like splodge down him. It was like,
they love it, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like
Better
Gucci
point out this is Jacob's old dog.
Yeah.
Not one of your support crew.
It is a nice it is a nice segue into what we were going to talk about, which is I want to spend a bit of time on George, really, because we've done a full episode on dogs. Like every single person in this room, including Chris obviously as well, it has got a connection with a dog or has had a connection with a dog, and George was like really, really special to you, wasn't he? So like just talk a bit more about.
Well, yeah, I mean everyone's dog's really special to them, aren't they? Like we were just talking before all this about you and yours, and like, I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease back in 2019, and the day after that I went and got George. And like I wasn't planning to. Yeah. I just was in and thinking, I need to cheer myself up. Oh, there's some puppies at this farm. I can't see some puppies. And ended up coming away with one.
Wasn't a guy who like said, do you want to come and see my puppies?
Yeah,
or did you make that?
It was in a white transit van. Yeah. But yeah, so I got George, and I mean, a lot of this stuff's covered in the film, and like I repeat myself about it a lot because it is my life. But I'd got to a stage where I didn't see the point in waking up in the mornings because I was that ill, and I was spending like 8-9 hours a day sat in the toilet, and all that's coming out was blood. And when you're in your early 20s, like it's terrifying that. And I had no social life, I had no desire to do anything. I just thought, if this disease doesn't kill me, then I'll end up, probably killing myself.
I've seen the film, and I've read what, because I think you're really good at writing and expressing yourself as well, which is brilliant, to be honest. But it's easy to forget, like you said, that, like a young lad, and you'd gone from, like, forgive me if I'm jumping ahead, but like you weren't that fit when you were younger necessarily. Got yourself to a position where you love this stuff, you love running, and then it almost feels like it's getting taken away from you by a disease, a Crohn's disease, that again you didn't really know it was at a crux point, really. You didn't know it was what it was.
No.
And you could see that almost, like, even in that film, I remember watching it, you could almost see that you could remember the desperation in wanting to know what it was, whatever it was, and that's the best way you could sum it up.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Because like I've coached people with various levels of Crohn's disease in the past, and it's easy to forget that it's a constant, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't go away. It's just managing. I mean, I have been very, in the grand scheme of things, been very, very lucky with it.
Yeah.
And I've been able to manage it myself. I've been able to do everything I need to do to look after myself. So I haven't had to have any operations. I've managed to do all these really hard things quite early on, and it has worked for me. Yeah. But I put a lot of emphasis on my work-life balance. Everything's perfectly as balanced as I can get it. Yeah. And that's ultimately what keeps me healthy and happy, and stops me getting worse. And I do feel in a situation now where I'm doing all these things, not necessarily because I want to do them, but because I know that's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
And I don't want anything to be taken away from me again, because it has been. And like, so yeah, I got George and we were going out again. We were living life and doing stuff. And then, I did my frog Graham, he came with me. And then, a week or so after that, he had an accident and he died. And that was another thing, that's been taken away from me. And that is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like, he wasn't even 2 at the time. And you just form these, these bonds, don't you? And it's when people say, oh, well, they're like family. It's like, well, they're not like family. They are your family.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids. I've had this first thing in my life that I've raised, and it was
so dependent on you as well, aren't they?
And like a border collie especially, like they don't really want free will. You go and do something, they just stand there looking at you. It's like, well, hang on, why aren't you coming with me?
You are the life, aren't you?
You are.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. And so, to lose George was awful. And then, like the day after George died, I messaged James Appleton, who's made the film and, a really, really good friend, and said to him, have you got any pictures of me with George? Because I've got obviously loads of pictures of him, but not many together. And he said, oh, look at all this footage. Because when you run with him, he's always got a camera.
Yeah.
And he's always, I'll take a shot for that. He might use it for something. And he said, I've got all this footage actually. I'll, I could do something with it. And I was like, oh, right, okay. And then he buggered off to Madagascar for 6 months. You don't hear anything from him.
As he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
And then he comes back and I'm putting down the G-stones, like bits of slate, which I didn't put on, putting on the summits that George didn't get to. He said, what's this? I said, I'm putting these down. Oh, I'll video you doing this. So he's videoing that. He'll go in the film. I said, all right, okay. Then he buggers off again.
At this point, had you talked about, I know you said, all this footage, I'll do something with it. Had you talked about making a film, or had you suggested it?
No. So he like the whole thing came about, James has given this to me.
Got you.
And as he was looking through it, I was like, I've actually got quite a lot. Like, I've got a chance to make something pretty cool here.
Because, like, again, in that film, like it's a 30-minute film, but it is packed of footage.
Yeah.
You and George, who wasn't here for the longest of times either.
No, and
I remember thinking one of the not good things, but when I lost Fergie, it was like because she'd been so involved with my social media, she was a big part of getting the videos and stuff. Like my phone was just absolutely full of stuff with me and her. The dog. For a stupid reason, but it ended up being a great thing. Actually, I still look at them all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I remember watching that film and thinking, God, it's so obviously it's awful, but it's amazing that all that footage is there as well. So I was going to be like, was James having a different film in mind, or was it?
Well, he's always wanted to make a film about the Lake District, about his time being there, and we did bits and pieces together. So, like some of the shots in the film of me and George were for Rupert Bonington at Mountain Fuel, and he's used them in the past. And James is like, included the bits that he didn't use in that.
Because you could age it by which Solomon vest you had on or something.
Yeah.
It's like, bloody hell, I haven't seen those for a while.
Today is actually 5 years to the day since we did the talking part of all the film. So like James came round to our house. We sat there in the kitchen, in the living room and did all the speaking part. And it was, it was 5 years in August that George died. So this was only like a couple months afterwards. And like, I was really upset talking about it all. But even then we didn't know what it was going to be. Yeah. And James was like, I'm just going to get all this and they'll see. And I've had nothing to do with it other than I'm in it. Yeah. And then in August last year, I got an email off him and he just said, I'm sorry it's taken you so long, but here you go. And I opened it up. We all went to Mum and Dad's house. We all watched it together and we're just bawling our eyes out.
Was it the finished film then?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
And I looked at it and I was like, that is too good to sit on my laptop.
Yeah.
So I got in touch with the cinema in Keswick and I said, look, I don't know if you even do this sort of thing, but this has been made about the Lake District, about me, about dogs, everything. Would you be interested in screening it? Jonathan at the Alhambra in Keswick watched it and he was like, yes. He put a special screening on, sold out within 2 hours. We put another one on, that sold out. And the first, I think, 10 completely sold out. And it had a run of being shown at least once a week from September until April this year. and it was selling out. They kept asking me to come back and do a bit of talk. And the first couple, me and James, and they're just doing a Q&A. And the first one, of the first 2 ones, I had everyone in my life who I wanted to be able to see it, come and see it.
Really special, right?
And the first one especially, like, some of George's friends who were dogs were actually there watching it.
Oh, my God.
My granddad was there. You know, my granddad died in January this year, and like, my granddad's there and he was watching it, and he came to me and goes, "Oh, I've just seen you on the screen." And I was like, "Yeah." And my granddad like stole the show because people were like, "Oh my God, his eyebrows really are that bushy and all this." And, you know, it's just been amazing. And like, but it has only been made as like as a love note for me, for George, by a really good friend of mine who knew what he meant to me. And, you know, everything that's gone on now, it's been amazing. And like, this year, I've changed things up a little bit this year because I've struggled a little bit with things that have come off the back of the film. And like, I know I'm loud and obnoxious at times, but I'm just a lad from Keswick who, you know, likes to go for runs. And I've never had that much attention before. And no one's been anything other than lovely about it. But there's times where it's got a little bit too much. Yeah. And I'm like I did the Great North Run the other week, or the other month, and I got stopped whilst I was running about half a dozen times for photos with people. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm just Jacob Tonkin from Keswick. Like, I'm not actually a famous person.
I'm not enjoying this.
And, you know, I've had so many...
James has got it right, just things behind.
Yeah, just bugger off to Madagascar. Yeah. But I've had loads of really nice interactions, and no one's been awful. But like, I don't know what to do when you sign a signature. Like, well, I've just written kind regards, Jacob Tonkin, and left it at that. But so I have taken a bit of a step back with a few things, and I kind of wanted to leave the fell running circle for a little bit. Yeah. So I went and did a lot of road running. I did Manchester Marathon, and I was going there hoping I would just be a name and a number, and then that, because of the film, it followed me a bit.
Change that vest out, mate.
I did. Yeah, I've not changed the Keswick vest. I can't do that.
I don't mean move club, but yeah.
Yeah. So I just needed to take a bit of a step back from it all, and then I realised that actually, no, I don't enjoy this sort of running. I want to come back to fell running, and that's you know, that's me, and that's what the whole film's about. And, you know, like, I do say that I am the worst thing about the film, because like the scenery and the shots are just amazing. And James is so good at what he does.
He's incredible.
And, you know, the biggest applause I can give him and how good he is I've been showing this film all over the country. It's everywhere, and amongst other short films. And there's a couple of short 5-minute films at the moment, and the list of credits at the end is as long as the film. Yeah. Whereas George, the film was made by James. Yeah. And he had no help with anything else. He's done everything. Yeah. So at the end, it's just a film by James Appleton. And that's what it is. It's not a special thank you to all these people. Yeah. He's just done it all. Yeah. And it's been into one awards and stuff, and I'm trying to get it still, you know, shown places, because I just want people to see James's work. Yeah. Like, I've had more out of it now than I could ever have had by that night where all us Tonkins got together and we watched it at Mum and Dad's house. Yeah. Everything else has just been an extra for me, which I don't really need, but, you know, it is James's job. Yeah. And I know he's not really bothered about any financial reward for it, but he's put his heart and soul into it. He's made something that good that I've wanted to make sure that, you know, if I can't get him any, you know, financial reward for it, at least I can
give him the credit and
you know, show what he's done, because that's, you know, all I can do.
And I know that people listening or watching this who haven't seen the film will want to see it now, because it is amazing. Is there still a way they can do it without having to go to a showing? Have you put it on YouTube now?
Yeah, so it's just gone to YouTube because there was some...
It had like a resurgence again, didn't it?
Yeah, there was some people who were like, some places being shown that had like an exclusivity thing, and but then that's all. I think that's pretty much all ended now, so it is on YouTube now. But yeah, I mean, it was being shown the other month in a film festival around Australia, and I was getting messages of people from Australia like, "Oh, I've just seen your film, mate." I can't do an Australian accent.
Well, bad actually that.
But yeah, and you know, so yeah, like I say, it's been amazing. I have been lost for words a lot of time with the film and everything that's come from it.
It's hard, isn't it? Because it's an amazing film, but it's not a great story in terms of
no. But it's not like there's a happy ending. There is, but
it's almost like it is a really sad film. It's rare that I'll watch a film and I'll start getting upset myself.
Yeah, but I think the way that James has done it
exactly.
It's
but
not...
you also know, like I know enough to know that like James is a good friend of you, and obviously you could see how much you cared and everything. So it is just the whole thing works. It's rare that you'll get that dynamic in a film. So it is important that lots of people see it, because whether it's a story with the dogs or the Crohns or the Lake District or the relationship between all three of you, I think it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's like we were toyed around at one point about having a slightly different ending to it and introducing my dog who I've got now, Hector, because everyone asks, have you got another dog?
Yeah.
But the thing that a lot of people struggled to get their head around when they first seen it was the fact that that's just the way that life progressed, and James was always there. So people are like, oh, was a lot of it scripted? Because how was James just there? I was like, well, that's what he is. He just does.
Yeah.
Makes it even more special, doesn't it?
It does,
really?
yeah. Because that's just how it happened. But yeah, so everyone asks, have you got another dog? And I do now. It's called Hector. His dad's actually George's brother.
Wow.
So he keeps the family tree going. Hector's just turned 5. He's a completely different dog to George.
Yeah.
You know, he's completely different. Like when we went out and you were doing the tearing round, he just hassled you all day. But that would be a couple of years ago now, though.
It was, yeah.
So he'd maybe only be about 3. Yeah. And it was the day after I'd done Borodale. And you were doing it with Simon.
I did the tea round with Si Roberts.
Yeah.
Before Dragon's back.
Yeah.
Dropped back. Fucking dogs nearly took me out twice.
Yeah. I dropped down to Buttermere to find them, and then came back on the route with them. And he was just all over them.
Yeah, it was funny.
So he's an absolute nightmare at time, Heck, but he's, like we do all the Canicross races. You never get over, you never replace, and you never get over, but they help you get on with your life.
I absolutely can understand everything you're talking about now, because we did that episode on dogs. Everybody in this room has lost a dog. We lost Molly, you lost Fergie, you lost George, Chris lost his dog. And we got 2 new ones, obviously, this star in the podcast a lot. We've got Luna now here and Pete, and they don't replace the original dog, but they fill a space in your life that it was just a black hole. It was a black hole. And I've not got my own kids, and I know you've not, but they're like kids. Well, they are kids.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely, like I couldn't live without the dogs. Like I just need them in my
having
life.
kids, you have to factor the same things in. It's not like they're...
No, it's true.
You kind of have to... I know people say, well, I haven't got kids, but it's like, and like Jacob said, they are part of the family. They are your family. You have to factor them in every decision you make around family life. So it's no different to having kids.
Yeah, I mean, my best mate Big Al's got 3 dogs, 3 other collies.
Yeah.
The youngest Zeta, who's just 9 months, which she's just had her first ever run with me and Hector this morning before I came here. And it's like, she was like, oh my God, like I can do all this.
Yeah.
And you're taking them doing this for the first ever time.
Oh, it's a good feeling, isn't it?
And, Al's got 2 others, Izzy and Mia, and they come everywhere. And so when we go out, it's just me and Big Al, and there's just this gang of dogs. And it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I like it.
You had the same experience as me. It was like when I had that injury, the disc herniation, I couldn't walk and everything. That's when I'd got Eric. So it was, I remember you saying in the film, it was like you were almost learning your new body and getting out there again. And as Eric came to an age where he could get out, as soon as I got out of the hospital, I was like limping around. Yeah, I literally couldn't walk, but you'd drag yourself out and drag Eric out for like a little lap of the neighbourhood, because that's all he could do. And then when he was allowed off the lead, I could walk a bit faster. But then when I got to the point where I could go for a little trot, that was when he could go for a run. So saying it was like we learnt to walk and run again. And I just said to him, like the first time I took him for a proper run and he was on the Canicross lead and all that kind of thing, I was like, oh, that's what I've missed. And like you said, it wasn't Fergie, but it was because Fergie would run with me for hours and hours off the lead, not leave me, whereas he's a flight risk kind of thing. Yeah. So it is completely different, but it is what you enjoy about running, and you can have it. You can have it. I think it's dogs in that sense, especially with runners. There's a different kind of link. Like Charlotte and everything, she has a completely different relationship to Eric. She loves him and everything, but they're not going for runs. They're going for a walk up the lanes and up the farms and everything. So she comes back with stories that are completely different to me. So just they've got their own thing.
Yeah.
It is good.
I know we mentioned Canicross right at the very, very start because it's something you love doing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to throw it in there, what's your thoughts on doing a Bob Graham with a dog and tying yourself to a dog?
I mean, I'm fortunate that I wouldn't need to tie myself to him. But I think Hector, if I was to do it with Heck, he'd do 2.5 legs and then he'd be like, I'm tired now. Because collies are a bit more sensible. I think they realise when they're actually tired and say, I won't bother. But I think it's great. I mean, I've done, Heck's been on supporting legs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think people should do it.
Could go for the record though if you had a dog for each leg. Do you reckon it'd be doable?
I don't. Most of the Canicross races are on like forest logging paths and trails, so you get a lot of pull power.
Yeah.
There's a lot of legs of the bob, but you're not. If you can't up skidder,
yeah, exactly.
You're
not going to.
Holes fell.
I'm going to say coming down holes fell. I can imagine.
Be interesting though, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But okay, sensible question though now. But the Canicross events, it's something I know about, but I don't really know like how often they are, where they are. Like, how did you get into that?
There's not loads. Debs White organises Lakeland Paws, which are done up in Winlatter, Dordon, Grisdale Forest. And then they've got quite a few over in the northeast and then a few down in the South Lakes. But yeah, they do a national thing, but it's all on beaches.
Oh, I see.
And it's all down south, and I'm like,
When you go and do them around the lakes or the northeast, is it the same crowd as well? Is it a bit like fell running when you turn up?
Yeah, because like Paul Tinney's been done it.
Really? Oh, of course.
I think Abdelnaw's done a couple. There's a good gang of folk, and there's a lot. Me and Hector completely sync up, and we know what we're thinking. And like, if you say left, he goes left, right, he goes right, and loads of things which he's been taught to do, and he's just.
So you do a bit of training beforehand.
So we go around the routes. We know where he's going. All these things. You have to practice picking up poos on at speed, so you're not losing time. But I've got all the records at the moment in Winlatter, and I really want Billy Cartwright and his dog Dan to go and do it because I don't think them two as a team
will be better.
Will be as good as me and Heck.
Is it a bit like I suppose horse racing and you the jockeys get to really
become the horse.
The horse, don't they? It's a bit like that. In my mind it is. I don't know if that actually plays out like that. But that relationship between you and the dog is just as important. It's not just like you can attach yourself to a fast dog, is it? You've got to learn to run together.
But it's relationship with animals, isn't it?
Yeah.
You put trust in them, they trust you.
Exactly.
And I'm always very trusting with my lads and my dogs, and I've luckily been able to raise them so that they're not complete knobheads.
Yeah.
Like they're both of them have been awesome round sheep, so I don't need to worry about that. We do a lot of training with them all the time. They're good over all terrains, and people often go, "Oh, Heck, he's an amazing dog with Heck," and I'm like, "Oh, only now when people are watching him, come back home and just bark at you the whole time." But yeah, you've got to put trust in them if you want to do stuff like that. But it's like running the relay partnership.
Yeah. It is.
You'll have a favourite person you'd want to run with.
Yeah. You've got to be a good match, haven't you?
You've got to be a good match.
Yeah.
You've got to have a good, understanding of each other. You might finish a race at the same time, week in, week out.
Yeah.
You're maybe way quicker going uphill and they're quicker downhill.
Yeah.
So that at times there's big gaps, and you want to be on.
Yeah, you've got to be in sync, haven't you?
Yeah.
Going back to the British relays, me and Carl Gray were in perfect sync on the nav leg. I think it was one of those years where we just got it right. And there's been years where we've been totally out of sync, he's been waiting for me or I've been waiting for him. But you're right, that partnership, it's really hard in the relays. And I'm not talking about Canicross now, but the actual relays itself, pairing people on the right legs and together in the right combination is key to winning the relays.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had Mark Lamb walking around like he was Jurgen Klopp. One of the guys had got two chairs, like deck chairs kind of thing, in our Keswick tent, and he just kept saying, "Just come and step into my office." And he's all,
go through the tactical
mastermind, Mark Lamb,
Oh gosh, but no, great event, wasn't it? And I'm just gutted that the Hodgson Brothers relay got cancelled with the weather this year, because that is a classic.
I was meant to be doing the commentary for that.
Oh, really? Oh,
Me
what
and
a
Bobby
shame.
Guard's story.
Yeah, because you did the commentary for the British Fell relays last year, Ted
and
Mason's.
the year before.
And the year before. And he's your podcast partner, isn't he?
Yeah,
on the back foot.
Yeah. But, don't speak any Welsh, so Matt Ward did it this year.
Ah, of course. So, Well, Gary, you speak Welsh, Gary. I mean, I speak a little bit of Welsh, don't I? Now I picked a bit up from Gary. I can say.
I don't speak enough.
I know
to like
signs.
Service station. Yeah. And I know that Araf is slow, so I could mention that.
Good job getting a job in Wales with Matt Ward around.
Yeah, true. Actually, Matt's got it covered. He's got it locked down, hasn't he?
He's got Wales.
He's got it locked down. Yeah. I imagine as well, if you got a gig, you'd wake up with a horse's head in your bed or something. He would not be happy. No. He would not be happy. No, I mean, Matt's a pro, isn't he?
He
He's
works
great.
62 weekends a year.
What's next for you, Jacob? Because we're going into winter now, and I think like most of there's obviously a bit of fell running all year round, isn't there? But is this a time of year where you'll switch and do a bit of road, or you'll go into a bit of orienteering, or is this Canicross season? I don't know what.
There are Canicross races on, like once a month at the moment up in Cumbria. I'll do the Kong Winter Series. I got my road running fix at the start of the year because I did Manchester Marathon.
What did you run at Manchester, just out of interest?
Going to tell you got
Let's start the podcast again and do it all about. I fell over a speed bump at mile 7.
Oh, really?
I was running along, right, and I'd spent all winter, I'd sacked off every fell race. I was all road, I was tarmac Tonk all winter.
Were you looking at your map and you just took your eye off the ball? Is that what it was?
I went to look at my bum bag. No, I was running along, cruising along. I was trying to get to 250, and I was thinking, I'm on for that. Mile 7, someone shouts, "Get on, Tonk!" Proper Cumbrian accent. I went, oh, who's that? Look back, the group I was with suddenly split, and you know them very square speed bumps at the end of the road. Shit. My foot in my carbon fibre shoes landed atop the speed bump. Now I was expecting another like 4 inches to travel, and I just went down.
Oh, God.
And I hit the ground with my chin. I took all the skin off my elbows, my knees. As I got up, I got elbowed in one side of the face. I got kneed in the mouth. I just get up. And you know when you properly fall over and hurt yourself, you're like, I'm all right. I got up and I'm running. And I'm looking. I'm like, I'm still on for it. It's fine. I sped up to get back into the group I was with. And bloke's like, sorry about that. Did I nick you? And I'm covered in blood. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. So I'm going through Altrincham, and you come down the hill ever so slightly. And I was like, oh man, he's really sore. I looked down, there was blood absolutely pissing out of it. And I was like, oh shit. And I'm starting to like limp a little bit because it's starting to get stiff.
Stop the fell run.
And then I've started to get like cramp in my adductors on this side. And I'm like, oh my God. And then mile 19, I was walking. And I was like, come on, you just run. Like just trot, do anything. I did 3:22.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, right, you can still get under 3 hours now if your next 10 miles is like 1:08. I'm like, you can do that. You can do that. Like, you can do it, please.
Not an accurate representation.
And then I finished and I was like, oh. So I trained really well. It's the first time I've ever done a big...
I remember you committing yourself to it. Yeah, we talked a lot.
A big roadblock like that.
It's nice having that feeling. I know that marathon didn't go well, but it's nice carrying that fitness. When you get fit, marathon fit is sometimes different, isn't it? I think
it is, yeah.
So when you go into the summer and you go, and you go into the hills and back and retreat back onto the fells, you probably will have felt good.
Yeah, I just regret trying to do all these bloody ultras I did this year because I didn't enjoy any of them. Did less than 50 and I didn't want to do that.
Was it the fueling as well?
It was, no, because I
take some mystery meat with you.
Yeah, mystery meat and red wine, Boris style. No, I just didn't have the head game for it for that long. And, you know, like, I think for me, I've got to have a really good intrinsic motivation to do something over 4 hours.
I was going to ask that because you're still relatively young, but you've ticked off all these things. So I was going to say, like, almost like, what do you do next?
Well, this is the thing. I'm like on this...
Because the bob and the frog and these challenges, like you said, have had a real intrinsic connection. And you're always looking for that.
Well, I have to sort of link things to my nan and granddad.
Yeah.
And I had to do the bob while my nan and granddad were alive. So, like, for me to do that. And I said to a couple of my friends, if I never run again, I'm happy. And I do honestly mean that. And I've never had that same desire to do something since I did the bob. And maybe I won't, but maybe I'm okay with that. Maybe it is now about enjoying myself and doing. And obviously, I want to go to a fell race and run downhill as fast as I can. Like, I love running downhill, but yeah, I haven't got one thing.
Yeah.
Like, Ultra World doesn't interest me.
No.
A long Lakeland Classic's long enough for me.
Yeah.
The Paddy, the Charlie, like, yeah, but I don't have that connection to them.
Yeah.
And, the Bob for me was,
the one.
I've had two life goals. Do the Bob Graham and grow a beard. Because my granddad did them.
Tick, tick, yeah.
Did the Bob. Granddad saw that. 6 months before my granddad died, I heard my granddad refer to me as, my grandson Jacob over there. Yeah, the one with the beard. And I was like, oh my God, I've made it. My granddad thinks I've made it.
Did you go over and tick that one off the list?
Yeah. So, yeah, I just want to get back to fell racing because I love it. And I'm like November, I've got, what am I doing? Dunnerdale. Then I am doing Brampton to Carlisle 10 miler. And then it's that, well, I say that as if like it's a non-event, of course. Obviously, the main thing of November, the biggest event of the year.
Kendal Metal Festival.
Yeah. Doing the Quid Games.
Yeah.
And then last weekend it's Steinbarrow Dodd, then Lee Mills Relay.
Yeah.
Which I'm in a team with.
Found my guide then for Quid Games.
That's it. He's a marked man now, isn't he? Yeah.
I'm not wearing my Keswick vest though. So
don't worry about that.
My team for the Lee Mills Relays is me, Charlie Day, Bobby Guard Story, and Ted Mason.
What a team.
Yeah.
That's a great team. Oh, yeah, that's a good team. I like that. Yeah. That's a beautiful team as well, isn't it?
Good,
yeah. I like that. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, so when it was the Relays of the week, I was up watching leg one and Ted was there and I was saying, as team manager, I'm just assessing how your descendant is going to go today.
He passed the test as well, didn't he? Yeah. With flying colours, yeah.
What did you think of the podcast with Ted? Have you listened to that one?
No, not yet.
There's one for you then.
He will listen to this as well, so you'll have to repay the favour because he does listen. He tells me what he likes about the podcast. He tells me what he doesn't like. He loves it when we get a guest on. He says he don't like us talking too much shit at the start. He's very honest, so he'll be laughing when he listens to this.
He used to send me voice notes for on the Back Foot podcast when it was on the build to the Relays, and it was always while he had his arm up a cow or something like that. Whilst my other hand's free.
What a character Ted is. What a character. There is another relay around this area actually, and Ted usually does it, and it's called Gathering Winter Fools. And I think with that one as well, Ted will correct me if I'm wrong, but you can put teams in a bit like Lee Mill and you don't have to actually be in the same club. So it's quite relaxed and it's always like fancy dress. Wharfdale, even though they are a club, they do put a club team in, but that might be another one to get into Ted with because that's always a kind of a good time of year. It'll be December. And you could carry it on after Lee Mill if it goes well.
Yeah. Who knows?
But no, I tell you, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jacob. I knew that we had a lot of things to connect together, but I think we did it quite well there. I think it all flowed perfectly, as it always does on RUNcensored.
Because the hosts are so good.
Oh, of course. Yeah. But no, thanks for joining us. I'm sure we'll get you on again at some point, and hope you get your podcast going back up again and running, because I did enjoy listening to it, mate. You got yourself a nice little cozy chair at home, didn't you? I remember on one of the episodes.
Oh, yes.
That's what I forgot to ask about. That
snuggle chair.
One of my highlights when I saw that armchair, mate.
Yes.
You won it, yeah?
I won an armchair before Christmas last year.
I mentioned that, by the way, because I just saw you in our snuggle chair. So, but go on, tell us the story.
I won an armchair in a raffle before Christmas. Picked it up. One of the proudest wins of my life. It's sublime. It was handmade. They sell for about £900.
It is a lovely chair.
It went in next to my Christmas tree, and I took a photo of me in the armchair, just wearing a Father Christmas hat. And it went on Instagram. I've never put anything on social media that's
you broke the internet.
As many likes. And I know how Kim Kardashian feels, yeah. And literally everyone was messaging about it. And then within, I think, 6 hours, it had got like maybe a couple of thousand likes even.
Wow.
And then it got deleted. And then I got banned off Instagram.
Is that because you're taking followers off Gary? Did he report
Probably.
you?
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me. I'll show you after this. There was this is before I had a bigger following, but I had a photo of me in front of the Christmas tree, and it was back when with the running, I did like face-to-face coaching, and I bought everyone loads of buffs. It's like House Running Club buffs, and it was just me naked in front of the Christmas tree with a couple of buffs over that. So it reminded me of Jacob's picture that then got taken down. Yeah, but mine did last a bit longer. So I think Instagram are a bit on it now. With,
but so I did a fully closed one and put that on instead, and everyone was like, "Boo!" Bring the original. So I have actually this year put an order in for putting it on front of a Christmas card to send to people.
Well,
which version though?
The original.
Yeah, that's the one.
So I'll send you both of.
Thank you. Send us both. We'll get that up on the wall next to the picture of me and Gary. I also just thought then, wouldn't it be cool to do a calendar for next year? I was going to say we could sell it and raise money for charity, but we actually need the money for the podcast, so we could just we could pocket all the money. Yeah. But we could we could do a very, very similar thing. You could be December, couldn't you? Actually, yeah. Or Gary could.
Well,
or
if you
whatever.
let me know another month, I'll.
I think Ted.
I think we might need to recreate the picture. So December's good.
Not that I'm prepared with them all.
I reckon Ted would be well up for that as well.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
I don't really want Ted sitting in my armchair stinking a cow.
No, that's true. We'll put Ted on another month. I'll let him choose a month. Yeah.
Ted has to be on one with
he
Strava.
He can be naked with his arm up a cow, can't he?
He could, yeah, he could. Yeah, I was thinking I could do that one actually.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Or me and Ted could both have our hand up the same cow. I don't know where this podcast's going. Sorry. Sorry. I'm gonna end it soon.
Let me jump in there then and say, if you want a calendar, whatever platform you're listening on or watching on YouTube, put up a comment below, and if we get enough, we'll do a calendar.
Yes.
If we get 5 likes, we'll do one.
Brilliant.
There's 4 people in this room to like it, then we just need Ted Mason.
Exactly.
Oh, Ben's mum watches, so we're good.
We're absolutely sorted.
Chris won't like it because he'll be the one printing them off at home. He'll be stuck with 1,000 calendars in the spare room.
I did my best to get rid of the photograph.
Brilliant. Okay, I think that's a good place to end it before it descends into chaos. But
did so well on that one as well.
Yeah, we did really well. Yeah, but thanks for joining us, mate. Thanks for making the trip down south as well.
Down south,
you can get back up north where you're most comfortable. Got your passport ready. Yeah. But without further ado, we'll see you next Tuesday. And good episode. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much.